When you finish in 5 minutes, we will do the very last community engagement in this room. That one will be sweet. And after that, ILO will tell us the final word that is very exciting to our ears. That word that when you are leaving, we say, yes, I was here.
The conversations around the content have been widely shared with all of us, and we also have the what Austin called work in progress. We thought we are finished, but it's insisted that there is something that may not call for add to that work. And it was one of the documents shared when we were invited to this program. Essentially, for this source involved is to look at the impact of the work we do. That good journalism makes a difference to people's life. You never can tell in this country. A lot of work that media have done that we thought that it doesn't matter. In 1970 or 69, Ghani picked up a case because of the catalytic role in even getting us independence. The West Africa pilots, the editor was being of their and co. And up till now, most of the politicians who have media. Meaning it's better to have a government it's better to have a government with, don't let me misquote it. It's better to have a media without a government than a government without. They are taking lots of work we are doing, and there are a lot of opportunities to also recognize us on a beat, and that beat, you understand, eventually gets recognition in terms of our work and those a platform, our platform to recognize the work we do. And a whole lot of people beyond the money, beyond the accolades, the best, the problem, the company improve, or the sector is better organized. The authors of the toolkits and others believe that at least we have contributed significantly to uplift the society. These are some of the thoughts that when we talk about the impact of our work, and we all know the practice you report are their practices or encourage businesses, partners to do the same. Give workers who have their rights infringed the confidence, the people in domestic work together. How do we organize? Maybe the labor will be thinking around such things. Whereas some people, maybe because they are doing tricycle, they are doing Okada, those one can better organize. But how do we organize those who are working as domestic workers, providing a whole lot of assistance that are getting big tramp up? These are issues because it's clandestine. How do we use our media report to bring this thing to the fore? These are catalytic things that eventually will transform our. The takeaway is that it is important to think about the desirable outcomes for the worker. When reporting a situation of forced labor, the solution of freeing the worker is a desired outcome. Elevating the situation, transform the change, and what have you. I've spoken about awards. In Nigeria, there are also awards that people can participate and see if their work can be also recognized. Then there's also issues on bringing down states who are contributing to the society. Rather than do all this dead kind of research that does not add value to our problem, if students started thinking around these issues and they have started bringing different solutions, no matter how we thought that it is still mundane, maybe they are undergraduates, but a whole lot of insights, information can be gathered from this. And if we now find a multidisciplinary kind of thing, where sociology, political science, mass comm, social work, and what have you can come into it. And what I'm seeing, a kind of developmental studies, which have already tested the idea of multidisciplinary approach to some issues. We can get there, and we also appreciate the fact that we said we need to also, because of the work that our editor have to pass through or edit in a day, and they are trying to meet the deadline. So this paper, for instance, maybe by 6 p.m., if you don't file your report, you may not get into the next day's report. A lot of things are there. Ourselves, we need to start putting those things that, okay, I know I have skills in this thing.
when you work on that pedagogical approach of what you know to what you don't know, it will be much easier, because before you get to what you don't know, you have already embedded yourself in a lot of things that you know. Making your stories relevant to your readers, listener, we can't be telling ourselves these things. These are things we are doing, and there's nobody who comes to Nigeria listening to our media platforms, either on radio, on TV, or even reading Nigeria on social media or content of our newspaper without giving us some accolade that Nigeria are well informed, they understand the issues, and they are getting engaged on the issue. These are some of the little takeaway or the follow-up action that we are suggested to do. We also recognize in this room that we must build synergy, we must work collaboratively, nobody can do it alone. No matter how governments, being government, thought they want to do it alone, they cannot reach everywhere. Even if with well intentions, talkless of well intention is not that robust, sorry, but we need to work together. That's the essence. And we, civil society, is also be mindful of what we say. Don't talk down on people. Give them that they have the obligations, they are the state, they are the government.
What the governance rates of development and be organized?
I particularly want to say thank you to our facilitators. I think they deserve a round of applause. Making it as interactive as possible and really trying to distill the issues, not really just, yes, the meeting needs to be contents of toolkits, but also opening up the space to get very specific issues that could be used as next steps going forward.
Of practice, which we have the WhatsApp group, we want to get your permission to include you on that list. Please, if you want your number to be included on that list, show your hand. If you don't want, just write it. I don't want to be part of the group. So, anybody we are not seeing, you are not part of it, you are not part of it. Okay. She was raising halfway. Okay. So, if your number that we have on the attendance list is not your WhatsApp number, please meet Julian Salman to give him your WhatsApp number so that you'll be included. Thank you. My name is Emeka Chris Obiezu. I'm a migration governance and policy expert. I provide capacity building for agencies, organizations, and government and non-government actors on labor migration governance issues. Okay, this workshop was designed by ILO, International Labour Organization, for media practitioners and civil society organizations and academia to discuss on labor migration issues, especially fair recruitment, and how this could be reported. And this training is done using the international developed toolkit for media reporting on labor migration and fair recruitment, which was adapted for Nigerian use by ILO Nigeria 2021. I think the whole goal of this is that this group of persons who have been trained will have opportunity to step down the training in their various organizations and agencies, and also form a community of practice that will advance the cause of labor migration governance in Nigeria, protecting migrant workers, those who are migrants in Nigeria and Nigerian citizens who are migrants in other countries, so that at the end, we would see that no human person is abused while doing work. For funding, we do not specifically say funding is out there yet, but we're also wanting to leverage the existing paradigm of training these days that could also be a form of virtual training and using peer groups, which is what this community of practice will do. But we believe also down the road, when the activities get heightened, that we might fall back again to our partners to see how much they could invest in it again, seeing the goal of the project itself.
Thank you. My name is Tunde Salman. Thank you. I'm a media and trainer consultant on the iHello Global Media Toolkit that was adapted to Nigerian context and facilitating series of training to popularize the toolkits for usage in Nigeria. The workshop here that we started since yesterday actually focused on deepening the capacity of media and civil society on reporting forced labor and fair recruitment within the context of labor migration. And we also engaged other stakeholders on consultation to drive the process further. And we believe that as a trained trainer, the participants are selected carefully so that subsequently they will lead the process of stepping down the training for other stakeholders. And as we all recall on the toolkit, the toolkit itself is divided into 5 different sections. Aside the introductions and the follow-up section, the Module 1 focus on understanding the story, Module 2 focus on finding the story, getting the story, the 3 focus on getting support, 4 focus on telling the stories. These are the essential content of the toolkits. And from our discussions since yesterday, we've seen that these issues are real issues that affect our people. Nigerians are moving out. In moving out for whatever reason, particularly for labor-related reasons, we believe that Nigeria as a member of international community, wherever our citizens are, there must be some level of protection for Nigerians in wherever they live, and that is why the role of the government is very key in ensuring that these issues are taken care of, particularly at that level. The training emphasized the need to sign bilateral labor agreements with our partners, particularly in the GCC country, the Gulf Cooperation countries, as well as in other issues of monitoring the situations of our compatriots there. That's one important issue. The other important issue is the fact that there are a lot of international labor standards that Nigeria has not fully ratified, and 2 came out strongly: the domestic workers conventions as well as the private recruitment agencies convention. Engagement with the Ministry of Labour revealed that steps are being taken to fast-track the ratification process, but we still want to call on government to speed up the action, because we must emphasize the need for stronger governance of the labor migrations. And without this instrument ratified, how can we now say we have strong laws or policies in place to help us engage the issue? These are some of the contents that the toolkit brings to the table. And we also emphasize that journalism will play an important role in changing perception, in educating our people about the issues at hand. That's why the focus of the training focus on the journalists and the civil society. We cannot talk of awareness as well as advocacy without bringing working synergetically with other stakeholders. The academicians also have a role to play, because at the end of the day, how do we sustain this effort? How do we institutionalize this effort? We believe that the content in the toolkits is very rich enough to find its ways into our universities, programs in Department of Political Science, Sociology, Social Work, Communications, and what have you, to be able to start educating the younger ones to understand this issue and engage this issue more robustly and effectively.
My name is Paul Manko. I work with CSO Humanity Foundation. The workshop has been able to, for me, address the question of fair recruitment, forced labor, unethical practices, and then the challenges that Nigeria and other developing countries have with labor migration, especially the issues of the ILO conventions that guide and direct fair labor practices. And of course, how that speaks to the media, the society, and the individuals who are involved in fair and decent work. Yes, there are a lot of misconceptions, lack of knowledge, capacity gaps that existed. But I think the last 2 days, the training, the workshop for media toolkits and for CSOs and the media practitioners has been able to speak to the basic issues of labor migration in respect of fair recruitment, forced labor, and international best practices. My name is Austin Irame. I work as a National Project Coordinator for the International Labour Organization. Basically, I lead implementation of the Fairway Global Program in Nigeria. And what the Fairway Program is doing is to address structural issues that pose as challenges to effective labour migration between countries of origin, of which Nigeria has been identified as one, to the GCC countries. Now, within the framework of that project, we have identified national adaptation of the global toolkit for reporting on forced labor and fair recruitment issues, which was developed by the ILO in 2020. The adaptation commenced in 2019, and we concluded work, it commenced in 2020, and we've concluded work in adapting the toolkit in 2021. What the ILO is currently doing is sensitizing media practitioners, including civil society organizations, as well as the academia, on the existence of that adapted toolkit for reporting forced labor and fair recruitment, as well as capacitating them on the normative contents of the toolkit. Now, going forward, we expect that from this workshop, which we just concluded, beneficiaries of the training, which include, of course, the civil society organizations and media, are able to improve their skills and knowledge on reporting issues that relate to labor migration generally, and more particularly looking at forced labor and fair recruitment. Now, the toolkit itself contains tips, guidance, and it's generally a practical guide on how media organizations and journalists can go about reporting labor migration issues, including forced labor. And we expect that in the no distant time, particularly with the exercise that we've conducted today, where we have jointly and collaboratively reviewed a survey tool that we'll be using to gauge the impact of this particular line of work, where we are capacitating media organizations, we'll be able to gauge the improvements and contribution that the Fairway Global Program is making, working with media and civil society at country level. So I think basically what we've also identified from the line of work we've been doing is that the labor laws and the national labor migration policy of Nigeria are non-discriminatory, including Nigerian migrant workers that are seeking employment opportunities, as well as migrant workers that are working in Nigeria. What we are doing as the ILO is working in consonance with the established labor laws at the national level and policies that the government has adopted. Everything that the ILO does is within these established frameworks, and what we do is to support and complement the work of the government to ensure that we strengthen the national capacities, we improve on the landscape, including policies, laws, as well as the practice level engagement, particularly in standardizing these processes with internationally recognized labor standards.